Up to the sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. Today is Sunday, June 13th, 2021, and we're back after a couple of weeks off, and the Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series Night 1 last week. Hope everybody enjoyed that show, and I want to thank everybody who tuned in, who's checked it out, and who's, downloaded the show and listened since it's been posted last Sunday. Definitely had a blast. As always, got to thank everybody over at Warrior. It's always a good time. If you guys have not checked out Warrior Wrestling, if you're in Chicago, definitely come out to the next show on July 17th. If you're not in Chicago, watch it on Fight or check out the live broadcast here on Podbean. And like I said, Warrior Wrestling, for my money, the best independent wrestling promotion out there. So if you haven't checked it out, you definitely owe it to yourself to give them a shot. So head over to warriorwrestling.net. You can get all the info on their stuff. As always, I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure to check out the website, catchhookshoot.com. You can find everything related to the show. Podcasts, videos, interviews, photo gallery, the CHS shop where you can get all the merchandise. You can also get t-shirts that are not on the CHS shop on the website at prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at catchhookshoot. Make sure to subscribe to twitch.tv/catchhookshoot, where we do watch parties every now and then. Haven't done one in a while. Like I said, we took a couple weeks off, then had the Warrior show, and haven't had the opportunity to do one. Hopefully we'll be doing it here pretty soon within the next few coming weeks or whatever. And you can find links to all of that and more at linktree/catchhookshoot, or you can scan this little QR code right here in the corner of your screen and find links to everything relating to the show. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So let's dive right back into the wonderful world of wrestling, and we're going to kick everything off like we always do with the match of the week. Alright, so the match of the week this week comes from AEW Dynamite, and it was the the tag team match with Hangman Page and 10 of the Dark Order taking on Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs from Team Taz. Just a great match. I love that they're really starting to showcase 10 quite a bit, and to me it really is a standout for the Dark Order. He's one I think at some point is going to be split off on his own as a single star. And fantastic match between these guys. Hangman and 10 did pick up the victory. We see some more cracks starting to form in the foundation of Team Taz, with Ricky Starks and Hook coming out in the middle of the match, trying to throw the FTW belt into the ring for Brian Cage to use it to pick up the victory. Didn't happen. Cage threw the belt back out. Ricky Starks got up on the apron where they were jawing back and forth. Starks actually slapped Brian Cage in the face, which caused Cage to chase Ricky Starks to the back, which is basically what cost his team the victory and allowed Hangman Page and 10 to get the pin. So, yeah, if you have not checked this one out yet, definitely go back and give it a look. It's from AEW Dynamite this past Friday, as a matter of fact. It was not on Wednesday this week. But, Hangman Page and 10 versus Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs. So let's keep rolling right along with my top 3 highlights of the week, and that is called the 3 count. So first up on the 3 count this week, and I'm still hesitant to say his name, but Frank the freaking Clown landed a helicopter on the field in the end zone at Warrior Wrestling last week. If you didn't see the show, if you like, again, if you're not familiar with Warrior, you haven't seen the show, you haven't listened to the broadcast that we do here for CHS. Frank the Clown, kind of the bane of the existence of the Warrior CEO Steve Tortorello, and Frank was banned from this event. And of course, he showed up right at the beginning of the show, showed up in the ring, got with a microphone and everything. Security literally carried him out of the stadium. Then about midway through the show, came back, bought a ticket, sat himself down at ringside, right in front of our table, as a matter of fact, completely obstructed our view of the ring. And, again, security picked him and his chair up and carried him out of the stadium. And then, right before the main event, Steve Tortorello is on the house mic talking about matches coming up for the next show on July 17th. And, a helicopter starts circling the stadium, getting lower and lower, and lands in the end zone, and out comes Frank the freaking Clown, thinking he is Ric Flair or Charlotte Flair or somebody named Flair to be coming in a helicopter. And very interesting sight. One person who was not impressed was Val Capone, as she actually stormed over to our table and jumped on the microphone and was just expressing her extreme displeasure with Frank's antics. But as a result of that, Frank's friend, I guess, Robert Ego Anthony, now must face the Murder Hawk monster Lance Archer at the next Stadium Series show coming up in July. So I'm not sure how Ego's going to feel about that, about Frank getting him into this mess, because Ego was not there. It was just Frank. But and that's going to be a no-holds-barred match. So looking forward to that one. But Frank the Clown landing a helicopter on the field at the Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series. Second up on the 3 count, Alexa Bliss and Alexa's Playground from Monday Night Raw. Now this segment caught a lot of backlash from fans online. A lot of people just not happy with or not liking the whole Alexa Bliss storyline, and the kind of supernatural horror movie type elements that are going on, which is fine. If that's not your thing, that's great, but that doesn't just automatically make it bad, and I don't care if you're a fan, a journalist, whatever, just because it's not to your taste or your liking doesn't mean it's bad. That's your opinion, you're entitled to it, but don't, come down on people who are enjoying it, like myself, for seeing it for what it is. It's it's a storyline, it's entertainment, it's, lighten up a little bit is my point. But Alexa's Playground, Shayna Baszler was the guest, I guess you could say, and Alexa telling Shayna she needs to apologize to Lily for calling her just a stupid doll, and Baszler threw Alexa out of the ring and proceeded to take Lily and stomp on her and left the ring area. And as she was leaving, the pyro started going off along the walkway, the fireball shooting up in the air. And then as she got to the backstage area, stuff just started falling all around her, like lighting rigs and that kind of stuff. And then she, locked herself in a dressing room, and was, telling herself, oh, it's just a doll, it's not real, it's not really happening. And, she looked in a mirror, there was Lily behind her, but she turned around, Lily wasn't there. It's stuff out of a horror movie. Like I said, I find it entertaining. I love Alexa Bliss. I love Shayna Baszler. I like that they're trying to, give Shayna more of an opportunity to show, like, personality, basically. Because when she first came in, yes, she was a monster. She was just beating people down. She was unbeatable and that kind of thing. But, they weren't... she wasn't showing a whole lot of personality, and now she is, and I'm enjoying it. If you're not, that's fine. You're, like I said, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but don't come down on other people who are liking it. And I happen to be one of them. I think I like the whole Alexa storyline, so I'm interested to see where it's going to go, and I'm glad they're finally getting Alexa back into the mix as far as hopefully in the ring wrestling. And I think Alexa and Shayna would make a pretty good match, especially with Alexa's current persona. So I'm interested to see where it's going to go. And number 3 on the 3 count, the Inner Circle, again on AEW Dynamite. Opening of the show, we saw the Pinnacle show up at the arena on the long white limousine, and then when they had their in-ring segment, talking about the Stadium Stampede. Each member of the Pinnacle talking about the different members of the Inner Circle, and towards the end of their in-ring promo, we get a shot in the back of Chris Jericho talking to MJF. And of course, he's got his baseball bat with him. They pull out to a wider shot. The rest of the members of the Inner Circle are there, and proceeded to completely destroy the Pinnacle's limousine, ending with Jake Hager and a forklift, just driving straight through the side of the limousine, lifting it up and dropping it back down. And it was a cool segment. So if you haven't seen that one, definitely go back and check that out. So let's move on to some news and rumors here. Now, one slight change I'm making to the show. I know I have been, going through each TV show and giving results of pretty much every match. And I had said a long time ago I wanted to get away from doing that. I don't want to be just completely results oriented. So I'm gonna, focus on the stuff that like the big stuff, what's going on with the major storylines and stuff that stands out to me, whether it's a match that I thought was really good that I think you guys should check out or whatever it might be. But I'm not just going to sit here and report results like I've been doing, like I said I wanted to get away from like a year ago. But so let's start off with WWE. The Viking Raiders actually got a victory in a tag team battle royal, which watching this battle royal really kind of shows you the state of WWE's tag team division, and to me it's not good. I mean, the Viking Raiders really the only true tag team that's left for the most part, and well, Lucha House Party too, but the Viking Raiders did win that tag team battle royal, so they are in line for a tag team title shot somewhere down the line against AJ Styles and Omos. We had the contract signing between Lashley and Drew McIntyre, and that match is going to take place inside Hell in a Cell coming up next week. And if Drew McIntyre loses, he cannot challenge Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship again. So, not that he can never challenge for the title again, just not while Lashley has it. We found out Eva Marie is going to be re-debuting next week on Monday Night Raw. There's been some conflicting stuff out there. Is she going to be a manager? Is she going to be wrestling? Some of the dirt sheets were reporting she's just going to be managing somebody, but Eva herself has implied that she will be in the ring, and there's been another rumor that she's going to have like a bodyguard type person with her, and the rumor on that is that it's going to be Piper Niven from NXT UK, which I think would be, it'd be pretty cool to see her brought over and put on Raw, because the women's division definitely could use a little bit of a boost in WWE on the main roster. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Like I said, she'll be re-debuting next week. NXT was all about building to Takeover in Your House, which is coming up later tonight. We actually saw a couple of backstage appearances from Doc Hendricks, which of course is Michael P.S. Hayes. That was his name, the name that he used when he was first brought into WWE as a backstage interviewer and pay-per-view host and things like that. So that was kind of cool to see Michael Hayes back in his Doc Hendricks persona. We also had a reveal from Ted DiBiase. The match for In Your House between LA Knight and Cameron Grimes is going to be a ladder match for the apparently reactivated $1 Million Championship. So that should be interesting. I mean, the match itself, I'm sure, is going to be great between those two guys, but now it's I'm assuming the $1 Million title is going to be a recognized title to some extent, so who knows. Saw an appearance on NXT from Poppy. She's the one who has made several appearances for NXT. She does Io Shirai's entrance music, and so she made an appearance, released her latest album live on the air on NXT, and we saw a segment backstage with her and Triple H and William Regal, where she, officially dropped her album. Dexter Lumis came up, gave her a drawing that he had made, and she, gave him a hug and everything. And as that was going on, Indy Hartwell, of course, came in and started crying and ran out because, her and Lumis are, I guess, still a thing. They're called Index. I don't know. But, and then after this, we saw Candice LeRae in the ring basically challenging Poppy because she's saying Poppy stole her spotlight and now she's hurt Indy's feelings with Dexter and things like that. And Poppy came out. She says, well, I'm not a wrestler, but I know someone who is. And we saw the return of Io Shirai, which was pretty cool. And yeah, like I said, it was all about the build to Takeover in your house, which I'll be getting into my preview here in a little while. And then, so moving on to NXT UK, we've got a new NXT UK Women's Champion in Meiko Satomura, defeated Kaylee Ray for that championship. And, you know, Kaylee Ray, to that point, the longest reigning champion in WWE in general. So, you know, very, very big deal there with Meiko Satomura picking up the victory. Moving on to SmackDown, the kind of, you know, constant thread throughout the night on SmackDown was all about Roman Reigns and the Usos. We saw Jimmy Uso in the ring to open the show. He's blaming Roman for the Usos not winning the tag team titles last week. And, you know, saw a couple of backstage segments, and basically Jimmy and Roman putting Jey Uso in the middle. Got to the point where Jey just basically looked at them both and said, I'm done with you, I'm done with you, I'm gone, and walked out on them both. And then we saw Roman kind of chastising Jimmy Uso, like, you know, what are you doing? This isn't about you. This isn't about me. It's about our family. Of course, you know, twisting stuff around, being, you know, playing the good heel like Roman's been doing lately. Right now, you know, as far as WWE goes, Roman Reigns is the best heel that they have right now in WWE. He's really kind of, in my opinion, come into his own. You know, this is the Roman that we should have seen 5 years ago. And so I'm liking, you know, the way that this is going. And then at the end of the show, we saw Rey Mysterio challenge Roman Reigns for Hell in a Cell for the Universal Championship. Now, this is stemming from last week, again, with that tag team title match with the Usos versus the Mysterios. Roman getting involved in the match, beating down Dominic Mysterio. So, of course, Rey challenging Roman for Hell in a Cell, and started beating on Roman with a kendo stick. Roman managed to come back and you know, get the upper hand on Rey. And we saw Dominic make an appearance, and same thing, start beating on Roman with a kendo stick. Again, Roman got the upper hand, powerbombed Dominic out of the ring. And I mean, you know, it was kind of obvious there was something set up to break his fall. I don't know if it was a crash pad, somebody there to catch him, whatever it might be, because the angle they had, you did not see him land. But you know, just the visual of Roman literally throwing Dominic over the top rope to the floor in, you know, a power bomb position, you know, was just it was a cool visual. So, you know, pretty sure we're going to be seeing Rey Mysterio versus Roman Reigns inside Hell in a Cell coming up here. I believe it's next week. And then another interesting segment from SmackDown, we saw Seth Rollins on Bayley's talk show, Ding Dong Hello, and Cesaro made his return after Rollins had injured him a couple of weeks ago. So I would think that's probably another match we're going to see at Hell in a Cell, is Cesaro and Rollins. Now, moving on to some AEW news, couple of big signings for AEW. Andrade and Mark Henry have both signed with AEW. Andrade obviously is a wrestler, and Mark Henry as a commentator for AEW's new show that's going to be debuting in August on TNT. So definitely some good signings there. And then we also found out next week we're going to see the debut of Brock Anderson. This is Arn Anderson's son. He's been training, you know, under Arn, obviously, and Cody Rhodes, and he's going to be teaming with Cody versus Aaron Solo and QT Marshall. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And Brock is the spitting image of Arn Anderson. And, you know, I'm curious to see how he is in the ring. I mean, if he's learning from Arn and learning from Cody, and they think he's ready to get in the ring on live TV, you know, then he's, I'm thinking he's ready to get in the ring on live TV. So I'm looking forward to his debut. Hoping we get to see a spine buster. I think that'd be a cool spot, but, you know, we'll have to wait and see how that's going to work. And in the meantime, during this promo, QT Marshall came out, challenged Cody to a strap match. And while Arn Anderson's back was turned, he strapped Arn across the back with his belt, which caused Brock to go on the attack. And, you know, I mean, it was just a brief spot, you know, but Brock Anderson went after QT, took him down with a double leg, and was just, looked pretty good. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Brock in the ring. And then we had Pac, Pentagon, and Eddie Kingston get a win over the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler. And then at the end of this one, we saw the Good Brothers come out and attack Pac, Pentagon, and Kingston. And the save was made by Frankie Kazarian, now known as the Elite Hunter. Of course, you know, going after all the members of the Elite because they're the ones that cost he and Christopher Daniels, their last match, causing them to split up as a tag team. So Kazarian, right now going hard after any and all Elite members. Then we saw a segment in the ring with Kenny Omega and Jungle Boy. They have a title match coming up on June the 26th. And this is a result of Jungle Boy winning the Casino Battle Royale at the last pay-per-view. And it was again good promo. Jungle Boy not a big talker, and but the promo was definitely effective. It definitely helped to build to this match very, very well. So this is again another one that I really want to see. I'm not necessarily thinking Jungle Boy is going to win this match. If he did, that would be cool. It would be a very cool, shocking, surprising moment to see Jungle Boy win the World Championship, and I think the crowd would go insane for it, but I'm not sure it's going to happen quite yet. And then we found out Darby Allin has accepted the challenge of Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. And this was from last week. They made a challenge to Darby saying pick any other partner but Sting, basically implying that Darby can't can't function without Sting was the implication. So Darby accepted that challenge, but did not pick another partner. Wants to take it as a handicap match. Sting tried to talk him out of it, but Darby's pretty much dead set on it. So he told Sting, "Hey, stay home. I want this match." Moving on to some Impact news. Steve Maclin, formerly known as Steve Cutler in WWE, has signed with Impact. We saw some vignettes touting his debut on the last couple of Impact shows, so not a huge surprise. He and Deonna Purrazzo are a couple, so it makes sense he would go to Impact. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, because I like Steve Cutler. Don't think he was used very well in WWE other than in NXT with the Forgotten Sons. Of course, once they got to the main roster, a lot of controversy around Jackson Riker, who is still with WWE. They saw fit to release the other two members of the Forgotten Sons, but it is what it is. But he has signed with Impact, and also found out that the main event of Against All Odds, which took place last night, I'll get to those results in a second here, between Moose and Kenny Omega for the Impact Championship, was going to take place at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, so basically on AEW territory. And also found out that the winner of that match is going to defend against Sami Callihan at Slammiversary coming up in July. And this stemming from the fact that the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega have basically been kind of doing everything they can to keep Sami Callihan out of the title picture. And it didn't work out too well for them in that respect. I'll get to that in a second here. But getting to the Against All Odds pay-per-view, or not pay-per-view, but Impact Plus special, Sami Callihan and Tommy Dreamer picked up a win over the Good Brothers in a street fight. Joe Doring defeated Kojima by pinfall. Petey Williams, Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Rohit Raju, a 5-way match to determine the number one contender for the X Division Championship, ended in a no contest. So we'll have to see how they're gonna determine who gets the next X Division title shot. W. Morrissey got the win over Rich Swann. Tennille Dashwood got the win over Jordan Grace. And this is building, I think, to a heel turn for Jordan Grace. We've been seeing kind of a lot of frustration on her part, a little bit of arguing or disagreement between Jordan and her tag team partner, Rachel Ellering. So I think this is leading to a heel turn for Jordan, and most likely a feud with Rachel Ellering, which I am completely here for. I would love to see that rivalry start off. I think it'll be really good. Fire and Flava defeated Kimberly and Susan to retain the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship. Violent by Design, Diener and Rhino defeated Black Taurus and Crazy Steve from Decay to retain the World Tag Team Championship. Deonna Purrazzo defeated Rosemary to retain the Knockouts Championship. And Kenny Omega was victorious over Moose to retain the Impact World Championship. And this was the match that took place at Daly's Place in Jacksonville. And Omega, of course, had some help, this time from the Young Bucks. So the Young Bucks did appear on an Impact pay-per-view. Or an Impact Plus special. I keep calling it a pay-per-view. It was an Impact Plus special. And, and Sami Callihan appeared as well at Daly's Place, coming out and, going after Kenny Omega. And this resulted in Don Callis firing Sami Callihan. So, and obviously this is, kayfabe firing. I'm sure Callihan is still under contract to Impact. He's got a championship match now against Kenny Omega at Slammiversary. So I think the build to this one is going to be pretty good. And obviously I think we're going to see Scott D'Amore at some point come out and say, no, Sammy's not fired. He still gets his title shot. Or basically, he gets his title shot, and if he doesn't win, then he can be fired, or something along those lines. But they're not going to, the gist of it's going to be they're not going to let Kenny Omega weasel his way out of facing Sami Callihan. Moving on to some MLW news, they have been having their draft the last several weeks. Now, of course, they've been off TV getting ready for their new season to start coming up here in July, and to welcome back fans. And some pretty good names have been drafted and signed to MLW in recent weeks. Top of that list, Davey Richards, formerly of the American Wolves with Eddie Edwards. And if you guys saw my interview with Steve Tortorello couple of weeks ago, you heard him make the announcement that Davey Richards is going to be appearing on the July 17th Warrior show, which is huge news. He broke that news right here on the show, which was freaking awesome. But Davey Richards has signed with MLW, as has Alex Kane. Lee Moriarty, who was just at Warrior Wrestling and had a match against Warrior champion Trey Miguel. Aramis, who is the new Warrior Wrestling Lucha champion. He won that 8-man War of Attrition match last week. He has signed to MLW. Ares, who was also in that War of Attrition match, has signed to MLW, along with Savio Vega and Zenshi, who have been in AEW for a little while, but I guess they're now officially signed. I'm not sure, but they were among the names that were drafted over the last several weeks. And MLW has also announced that July 10th in Philadelphia, this is their return show with fans at the old ECW arena. They will be holding their Battle Riot event, and this is kind of their version of a Royal Rumble, with the entry of wrestlers every couple of minutes, and so it should be very good, because they typically have a lot of guys in the Battle Riot. I want to say it's usually around 40 instead of like the 30 you would see in a Royal Rumble. So it's I'm looking forward to that, because MLW, some of the best in-ring product you're going to find. If you have not followed MLW, they are on Vice TV now every Saturday. I'm assuming when they start back up in July, that's going to be new episodes being shown on Vice. But they've kind of been showing almost like a best of thing since they debuted on Vice a few weeks ago. So if you've never watched MLW, check it out. They're on Vice, they're on YouTube, they're on beIN Sports, they're all over the freaking place. Check out MLW. Some Ring of Honor news: they are beginning their Survival of the Fittest tournament, and the winner of this tournament gets a World Championship match, and it consists of people who are currently not in the World Championship rankings. The first match of the tournament took place this week, and it was Flamita defeating Rey Oris. Some New Japan news: we have a new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Takagi defeated Kazuchika Okada to win the championship. I think a little bit of a surprise. I think people expected New Japan to just kind of fall back on Kazuchika Okada, because he is their top guy. Whether he has a title or not, Okada is the top guy in New Japan. But Shingo Takagi, the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Some I think pretty big news out of the NWA. Another signing from Warrior Wrestling. I swear to God, Steve needs to be getting finder's fees for these for all these wrestlers that are being signed to major companies. Kylie Ray returned at Warrior last week, and then the very next day made an appearance on the NWA pay-per-view, and it was announced she has signed with the NWA. So Kylie Ray back in the mix in wrestling, and I honestly couldn't be happier. So hopefully this is the best thing for her as far as signing with the NWA. The NWA has a great women's division. Building on that, there is a new NWA World Women's Champion. Camille defeated Serena Deeb at that same pay-per-view to win the NWA World Women's Championship. Nick Aldis defeated Trevor Murdoch by DQ to retain the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and this was a case of Murdoch kind of got screwed. He got DQ'd, but it was kind of a a situational thing where Aldis he was basically framed by Nick Aldis, okay? And then we had an announcement from Billy Corrigan this past week. The NWA will be producing an all-women's pay-per-view, and that pay-per-view is going to be produced by Mickie James. Obviously, Mickie James released from WWE not that long ago. There was a lot of people questioning, wasn't she under a non-compete? Yes, she is under a non-compete, but she's not wrestling. She's producing. So, she's good to go. So she's going to be producing an all-women's pay-per-view for the NWA. And, from the sounds of it, it's open to pretty much anyone, to participate in this pay-per-view. So we could see, knockouts from Impact. We could see women from AEW, women from Ring of Honor. Who knows? There's so much talent out there as far as women in pro wrestling, especially on the independent circuit. So, we'll probably see some names that a lot of people are not familiar with, and get them some high profile exposure, which is good for everybody. And NWA also will be doing a 73rd anniversary pay-per-view, and those are both going to be taking place from St. Louis, which was a hotbed for the NWA back in the day. So I'm looking forward to both of those. And it was also announced they will be holding a tournament for the National Heavyweight Championship. And it's basically going to be two triple threat matches. And I guess the winner of those triple threat matches are going to face each other for the championship. On one side, you've got Chris Adonis, Tom Latimer, and Perro in a triple threat match. And on the other side, you've got JTG, Fred Rosser, and Kratos. Now, if I had to guess what the final match is going to be in this one, I'm going to say probably Chris Adonis against maybe JTG. I don't know. This is hard to call, honestly. But I think I'm going to pick... it's either going to be Chris Adonis or Tom Latimer, I think, to come out with the championship and bring it back to the Strictly Business faction with Nick Aldis and Camille. So I'm pretty sure it'll be one of those two. And I'm interested to see with Mickie James now in the NWA. Obviously, she's married to Nick Aldis. It is... once her non-compete is done, are we going to see Mickie James in the ring? Could we see... there's a built-in storyline right there between Mickie James and Camille. Obviously, Mickie James, like I said, married to Nick Aldis. Camille, part of the Strictly Business faction with Aldis. Camille, the new NWA World Women's Champion. And, so... like I said, there's a built-in storyline right there with between Camille and Mickie James. So I'm very curious if they're going to play off of that. So only time will tell. We'll have to find out. So let's get into NXT In Your House coming up tonight on Peacock or WWE Network or wherever you watch it at. NXT Takeover is always I've never been disappointed with an NXT Takeover event, and this one doesn't look to be any different. Starting off, we've got a 6-man tag team winner take all match for both the North American and tag team championships. Bronson Reed, the North American champion, teaming with MSK, the tag team champions, taking on Legado del Fantasma. So basically, if Legado del Fantasma wins, they get all the championships. I'm assuming Santos Escobar would get the North American title, and Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza would get the tag team titles. So, but I'm picking Reed and MSK to retain in this one. I think Reed's only had the North American title for a couple of weeks. I don't see them taking it off of him this quick. So, same thing with MSK. They haven't been tag team champions for that long. So I'm hoping they're not gonna do a quick switch like that. So I'm picking Reed and MSK to get the victory. Raquel Gonzalez defending the NXT Women's Championship against Ember Moon. This should be a great match between these two. I think Raquel Gonzalez is going to retain in this one. Again, she's only been champion for a couple of weeks. I don't see them taking it off her that quick. They've built her to be this unstoppable monster. And I think at some point, it's going to come to Raquel Gonzalez and Xia Li. Honestly, that's my take on it. Talking about Xia Li, she's got a match against Mercedes Martinez. There's been, this one's been built up pretty good over the last couple of weeks. But I'm picking Xia Li in this one. I think that's just my opinion. That's just the sense that I get. I think it's going to build somewhere down the line. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know where it's going to happen, but I think it's going to be Raquel Gonzalez and Xia Li at some point for the NXT Women's Championship. So I'm picking Xia Li to get the win over Mercedes Martinez. Then we've got LA Knight taking on Cameron Grimes in that ladder match for the $1 Million Championship. This one's hard to call because Cameron Grimes has kind of been stymied at every turn by Ted DiBiase, and LA Knight, of course, the cocky, arrogant, kind of fits the DiBiase mold of the $1 Million Champion. So I don't know. This one's kind of a coin toss, but I think I'm gonna go with Cameron Grimes in this one. As much as I'm not a huge fan of the Cameron Grimes character, the Cameron Grimes, the wrestler, is fantastic in the ring. This is going to be an awesome match, so I'm gonna go with Cameron Grimes to win the $1 Million Championship. And then the main event, we've got a fatal 5-way for the NXT Championship. Karrion Kross defending against Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and Pete Dunne. This one's going to be insane. These 5 guys are going to beat the ever-living hell out of each other, and I can't wait to see it. But I think in the end, I'm picking Karrion Kross to win and retain the NXT Championship, unless he's being brought up to the main roster sometime soon. If that's the case, then quite possibly Adam Cole could get the NXT title back. But I'm thinking Karrion Kross is going to retain in this one. But look for this one to just be a brutal match between these 5 guys. And we're going to see some very cool stuff in this match, just my opinion. So let's run it back down real quick. I've got Reed and MSK retaining their championships against Legado del Fantasma, Raquel Gonzalez retaining the women's championship against Ember Moon, Xia Li defeating Mercedes Martinez, Cameron Grimes winning the ladder match for the $1 Million Championship, and Karrion Kross retaining the NXT Championship against O'Reilly, Cole, Gargano, and Dunne. A little bit of miscellaneous news here. Lio Rush has announced his retirement from pro wrestling. Now, he was the surprise entrant in the AEW Casino Battle Royale at Double or Nothing, and he apparently was injured in the match, suffered a shoulder injury that he's apparently been having some issues recovering from, and just announced he wants to be a husband, he wants to be a dad, which I completely respect, and so he is retiring from pro wrestling. Kind of sad. I mean, Lio Rush, absolutely amazing in the ring. And who knows? It's pro wrestling. Retirement is not always a permanent thing. Look at people like Terry Funk and Ric Flair and all that kind of stuff. So it's not always a permanent situation. But for the moment, Lio Rush is retired from pro wrestling. So that's going to pretty much wrap things up for news and rumors and previews and predictions for this week. So right now, I'm going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he is here with your Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey, the wrestling friends, I am back. I am Charlie G with this week's Limited Indie Cut. Before I explain why, I'd like to thank everyone at Warrior Wrestling for last week's show. It was another awesome experience, just be a small part of the show, but feeling so welcome nonetheless. From everyone starting with Principal Steve, Eric, Otto, Kirby, Val Capone, all the wrestlers and referees who said hello before the show, and for all the wrestlers being so gracious with their time during the VIP session, even in the heat. It was all very cool. Again, now as I said, it's a limited indie cut only because there is so much wrestling going on these days. I don't want to feel burned out again, so I will be cutting back on all of it, that I talk about, and go back to the roots of this cut, being what I watched. Names I knew and know, and some wrestlers to keep your eye out on. So, hope that is all right with all of you. So now let's begin with Thursday, June 3rd, and part of the show I talked about during Warrior Wrestling, Beyond Project Dolphin, from Beyond Wrestling, from Worcester, Mass. Real cool show. So it was Matt Mikowski defeating Logan Easton LaRue, Willow Nightingale defeating Alec Price, Slade destroying Max Caster in a submission match, Tony Deppen defeating Steve Macklin, Deanna Purrazzo defeating Masa Slamovich, Brogan Finley defeating Chris Dickinson, Trish Adora defeating Aaron Rourke, and for the IWTV Independent Wrestling title in a three-way match. It was champion Wheeler Yuta defeating Dave Cole and Lee Moriarty in 2 straight falls. Very cool match there. On to Friday, June 4th, Gotta Move Chaka Pro 123. Still on YouTube. It was for the Asia Dream Tag titles, where champions Valiant Aki and Mei Suruga defeating Minoru Fujita and Rina Yamashita. Then down to Tacoma Texamo Pro Inception from Sherman, Texas. For the Texamo Pro title, champion Charlie Haas defeated Tino Valentino. And for the Texamo Rose title, champion Promise Braxton defeated Miranda Gordy. To Southern Honor Wrestling from Canton, Georgia. For the SHW tag titles, Chip Day and Kyle Matthews, who are champions, defeated Ben Buchanan and Bo Buchanan. And then Danny Jordan defeated Harlow O'Hara. Then to Hybrid Roll of the Dice from Atlantic City, New Jersey. It was free on YouTube, so check it out. I also talked about this show as well. So Young, Dumb, and Broke, who was Charlie Tiger and Ellis Taylor, defeated Eli Knight and Malik Ozaid. Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steeles defeated Janai Kai and Yoya. Then Holodead took on Masa Sandwich to a 23-minute no contest, as they both went through those doors, trash cans, chairs, you name it. Holodead hit a second rope belly to belly onto it, so they're both knocked out. Awesome match. I don't know how she made it to Saturday, but she sure did. Mance Warner defeated the one called Manders. Of course, that was a hard-hitting match. They had doors, tables, you name it, they had it. Marty Bell defeated Trish Adora. Jordan Oliver defeated J.J. Garrett. G. Raver defeated Gangrel. Yeah, it was an interesting match there. And Homicide defeated A.J. Gray. That was big. Nice, strong fight between those two. To New Japan Strong, number 43. TJP defeated Kevin Knight. And Carl Fredericks teamed with Satoshi Kojima while he was here in the States. And they defeated Danny Limelight and J.R. Krotos. Then CMLL had a show where Mystico, Valador Jr., and Christico defeated Angel Diora, El Terrible, and Euphoria. 2 falls to 1. On to Saturday, June 5th, and YMZ Gokigen June 2020 Mini. I mentioned this because this is Kari Yoniyama, or Gokigen Death, or Death Yama-san. This is her promotion, and they are having money troubles, of course, as everyone else would have during these trying times, especially in Japan. So if you can check them out as much as you can and or donate, it'd be greatly appreciated. I'm sure she would love it. And so Kari Yoniyama defeated Sayoka Obihiro. And then in a 2-on-1 handicap match, Asuka and Makoto defeated Kengo Massimo. On to Stardom. From the God of Japan, Kojuma defeated Lady C. Saki Kashima defeated Maika and Mina Shirakawa. That was a pretty good match there. Tao Nakano and Unagi Sayaka took on Azumi and Saya Kamatani in a 15-minute draw. Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid defeated Momo Watanabe and Utami Hashita. Awesome match there. And then we had Julia Natsupoi and Siri. They're changing her name, how you pronounce it. I'm just going to call her Siri. Defeated Konami, Natsukatora, and Ruaka. To Dragon Gate, Rainbow Gate Day 1. I'm not going to go through all these Dragon Gates, that's for sure, but we had Ben K and Kaisuke Okuda and Ultimo Dragon won their 3-way match. Progress, Chapter 112. The flowers are still standing. Of course, from London, England. Hopefully it is on the Peacock Network, because I missed progress. We had Elijah defeat Danny Black. Brandon White and Danny Jones defeated Chuck Mambo and TK Cooper. Dan Maloney defeated Gene Money. Giselle Shaw and Mercedes Blaze defeated Alexis Falcon and Kanji. Dean Allmark defeated Chris Ridgway. And for the Progress Tag Titles in the tournament final match, Kid Lycos and Kid Lycos II defeated Ethan Allen and Luke Jacobs by referee's decision to become new tag champions. And of course, you had our Warrior Wrestling show. Then there in that show, it was GCW Tournament of Survival 666 on Fight Network as well. So it was Ninja Mac defeating Calvin Tankman, Dante Leon, Dylan McKay, Jack Cartwheel, and Starboy Charlie. And then for the tournament winner, it was Alex Colon defeating Agus Kogar by referee's decision. Yeah, you wonder why. I saw a picture of this, and yeah, nice Bulls jersey, Alex though, but yeah, it was all just completely red instead of white. It was just red and bloody red. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Then to Jersey City Wrestling After Hours from Game Changer Wrestling on YouTube, and I also talked about this on our show. So Frontman Jay defeated Everett Connors. Yoya defeated Alice Taylor. Dante Leon and Ninja Mac defeated Dylan McKay and Marcus Mathers. JJ Garrett defeated Devin Monroe. Jimmy Lloyd defeated Grim Reefer. Billy Starks defeated Charles Mason. Steve Scott defeated Levi Everett. And in a deathmatch, Ricky Shane Page defeated Crowbar. I don't know how much of a deathmatch you could put on YouTube, but they did. To Core Professional Wrestling from Sand Springs, Oklahoma. For the heavyweight title, Falls Count Anywhere match, Tommy Dean defeated champion Double D to become new champion. AAA, we got some matches to talk about. So we had Aerostar, Drago, and Mr. C's Jr. defeated Argenis, and Parker Negra, and Superfly by DQ. Of course, that happened. For AAA World Cruiserweight title, champion Laredo Kid, we all knew he was champion, defeated Latigo, who had Ariz in his corner. And then we had a tag match of Abismo Negro Jr. and El Tejano Jr. Defeat El Hijo del Vikingo and Atagan Jr. And that was an awesome match. Awesome three matches in that show. You know where to check that out. Quickly, it's going away soon. On to Sunday, June 6th. We have 01 20th Anniversary Series New Century Creation, where Aja Kong defeated Atsumi. Daisuke Sakamoto and Yuji Okabayashi defeated Daichi Hashimoto and Sanjiro Otani. And for the 01 World Heavyweight title, champion Masato Tanaka defeated Shima. I would kind of consider that, right? Then Stardom had a Hiroruku Ashi Broadcasting Stardom Celestial Broadcasting Memorial Show. Sorry if I destroyed that whole thing right there. But they had Momo Watanabe defeated Lady C. Koguma defeated Azumi and Ruaka. Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid defeated Julia and Natsupoi. That was a really good match there. Maika and Siri took on Saya Kamatani, and you had Tommy Hashita to another 15-minute draw. And then Konami, Natsuka Tora, and Saki Kashima defeated Mina Shirakawa, Tam Nakano, and Unagi Sayaka. And of course, they challenged for the six-person tag titles there. To Marvelous, we had Mika Iwata defeated Rin Katakura. A little surprise there. And then at a Just Tap Out girls show, Minoru Suzuki back at wrestling. Hopefully he's back healthy, of course. Defeated Tomoka Unaba. Then on to Cyber Fight Festival 2021. This was an awesome 6-hour show. Yeah, hopefully they can cut this down maybe to 2 days instead of 1 6-hour broadcast, but they had a nice crowd, awesome matches. If you knew everyone that was going on, if you didn't know everyone, just it was still awesome to see. Pre-show 10-person tag. Miuri Miyumi, Suzumi, Ushu Endo, Bruno Neko, and Moka Miyamoto defeated Kaya Terabami, Hiro Kiru, Naoka Kuda, Tam Harajuku, and Raku. That was a great match to start the show, and it was the pre-show match. Yeah, so then there was a pre-show delayed entry battle royal, and Antonio Honda won that. Yeah, that was just a little, yeah, it's Antonio Honda, people, it's a little goofy. Then in a 3-way tag, Hyper Misao, Soka Nakajima defeated Miyu Watanabe, Rika Tatsumi, along with Nadaka Tenma and Yuki Aino. Maki Ito, Rurika Kobashi, and Yuki Kamafuku defeated Hikari Noa, Mizuki, and Yuki Arai. In other 6-person tag, Daisuke Sasaki, Soma Takao, and Tetsuya Endo defeated Mao, Suma Katsumata, and Chris Brooks. I enjoyed that match. So all these others. And then tag match of Kansuki Takashita and Yuki Ino defeated Kota Kiyomiya and Yoshiki Unamura. For the Princess of Princess title, champion Mayu Yamashita defeated Yuka Sakazaki. Check out that match if you can. For the KOD Openweight title, champion Jun Akiyama defeated Hiroshima, pretty much by chokeout. And then for the GHC Heavyweight title, Nomichi Marufuji defeated champion Kenji Muto. Real cool match there. Then also on Sunday, NWA When Our Shadows Fall pay-per-view took place. Real cool show. Colby Carino was actually on their dark match, so that's cool to see there. Hopefully he sticks with NWA, since he's really not on a lot of other companies at the moment. Yes, Kylie Ray and Taryn Terrell defeated Melina and Thunder Rosa in a little underhanded way by Kylie Ray, but still cool to see. And congrats to her signing on that contract. Hopefully there is more to come with her. Then on to New Texas Pro Wrestling, Pro Miami, Independent TV, where the New Texas Pro Women's title is on the line, and Roxy defeated champion Rochelle Rose to become the champion. Chris Bay defeated Gino Medina. Masa Slamovich made it down to Texas to defeat Sky Blue, so that's where Sky was. Wish she would be at Warrior Wrestling one night, but hopefully that will come soon. For the New Texas Pro Lone Star title, champion Max Heights defeated Fuego del Sol. And for the New Texas Pro title, in a 4-way elimination match, champion Mysterious Q defeated the One Call Manders, El Segundo, and T-Ray. Gotta love those names. Then on to Game Changer Wrestling, Zombie Walk. That was on during the NWA show, so I did not see all these matches. But we had Tony Deppen defeated Jack Cartwheel, AJ Gray defeated Calvin Tankman, Ninja Mac defeated Lucky 13, the One Call Manners and Mance Warner with Levi Everett defeated Alley Cat, Effie, and Everett Connors. In a 6-way scramble match, Grim Reaper defeated Action Andretti, Devin Monroe, Dylan McKay, Kevin Giza, and Marcus Mathers. Chris Dickinson defeated Starlight Charlie. A really good match there. Jordan Oliver defeated Dante Leon. And then for the GCW World title, in a death match, Nick Gage was champion, took on Jimmy Lloyd. And that went to a no contest because of the interruption of Matt Cardona, of all people. More on that a little bit later. Then on to Galley Lucha Libre from Villa Park, Illinois. And for the Galley Tag Team titles, Ramis and Ariz defeated champions Golden Dragon and Gringo Loco to become the champion. So Ramis is now a double champion here in Illinois. And then Laredo Kid defeated Black Taurus. So I would have loved to see this match show because it was all the guys from our Warrior Wrestling Lucha Libre match, you know. So on to Monday, June 7th, and Tokyo Pro, that's PW 17. Yuki Aino defeated Powerrr Juku. New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion, Osaka Joe Hall show. For IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, champion El Desperado defeated Yo. Kota Ibushi defeated Jeff Cobb. Really good match there. And then for the IWGP World Heavyweight title, Shingo Takagi defeated Kazuka Okada in a 36-minute really good match between those two. Shingo is your champion in New Japan. On to Tuesday, June 8th, in New South Action Class number 39. Cabana Man Dan teamed with Shark Boy to defeat Two Fly Ty and Rolando Perez. Absolute Intense Wrestling, Go for Broke number 10 from Cleveland, Ohio. For the Absolute title and Intense title, champion Joshua Bishop defeated Colin Delaney. And then for the Mysterious Benefactors Banger 4-Way Elimination match, Wes Barkley defeated Derek Dillinger, PB Smooth, and Trey Lamar. So that's where Trey got to be, huh? Then CMLL put on 2 shows. Yeah, no need to really get into those after all. On to Wednesday, June 9th, in All Japan Dynamite Series Day 1. For the All Japan World Junior Heavyweight title, Koji Iwamoto defeated champion Shima. And for the All Japan World Tag titles, Kento Miyahara and Yuma Oyagi, who are champions, defeated Kohyo Sato and Tsuji Ishikawa. To Thursday, June 10th, Tokyo Pro, that's NJPW 18, Hyper Sao defeated Raku. To GLEAT fan meeting in Sapporo, where Shima and Kaz Hayashi defeated Drew Parker and Kota Sekafuda. Masato Tanaka defeated Issei Onitsuka. And El Lindemann with T-Hawk defeated Somo Watanabe and Takano Ito. DDT started their King of DDT first round matches. So just 2 matches there. Jun Akiyama defeated Shuma Katsumata, and Tetsuya Endo defeated Chris Brooks. I'm not going to go through all those matches, so I will just say the winner when it happens. Ohio Valley Wrestling TV 1139 from Louisville, Kentucky. Tony Gunn defeated Garrison Creed. Facade took on William Lutz to a no contest. Adam Swayze and Rex defeated Brandon Tate and Brent Tate. And Danny Moe defeated Sierra. There was another IWRG show from Mexico where there was a 4-way 16-man tag match. Yeah, that had to be wild, and I'm glad I didn't call it. To Friday, June 11th, No Peace Underground, Effie's Fear the Gate Agenda, and IWTV, of course. We had Dark Sheep defeated Trish Adora, and Pharaoh defeated Effie. Then to the show I watched, and that was AAW Crush and Destroy from Marion Park, Illinois, on Fight TV from 115 Bourbon Street. I see them back there. We had Ace Austin, Hakeem Zane, and Madman Fulton defeated Dante Leon, Byron Reed, and Travis Titan. Davey Vega, the new attitude Davey Vega, I might say, with Sean E. Bravo in his corner, defeated Storm Grayson. Allison Kay defeated Allie Ketch, who was really Allie Cat, but she goes by Catch, with Johnny Bravo in her corner as well. Josh Alexander took on Matt Fitchett to a 20-minute draw. That was a really cool match there. And then for the AAW tag titles, Dion Roosman and Josiah, who are called Infamy, defeated the One Called Manners and Matthew Justice with a little help of Robin Steele to become new champions. I don't know why Manners and Matthew Justice got their tag titles taken away so quickly, but they did. And then we had Shaft defeated AJZ. Fred Yehai defeated Daniel Garcia. For the AAW Women's title, champion Chris Statlander, and as you see her back in action, defeated Hyan. And for the AEW heavyweight title, champion Mance Warner defeated Jake Something in a really brutal match between those two. Would you expect anything else, right? New Japan Strong, number 44. Taped, of course, because we have Leo Rush team with Rocky Romero to defeat Clark Connors and the DKC. And a little bit of a old school match. Fred Yehi and Wheeler Yuta defeated Jordan Clearwater and Mysterioso. So kind of nice to see them tag once again. And to earlier Saturday, June 12th, there was a Tenryu Project Survive the Revolution show where the Tenryu Project International Junior Heavyweight title was on the line, and Habu defeated Kengo to become new champion there. If you watched the Hana Kimura tribute show, Habu was on that, and he is really cool. I hope to see more of his matches. Then there was a tape-delayed Stardom show with the Road to Tokyo Dream Cinderella. I don't have to get into that because there was a Tokyo Stardom Cinderella show also early this morning. I'll get into that a little later. There was a Michinoku Pro Wrestling Ito Rodan show where Balian Aki and Mei Suruga defeated Emi Sakura and Yuna Mizumori, and in a casket match, Jinshi Shinzaki defeated the Great Sasuke. Gotta Move Chaka Pro 125, where they had the Super Asia title on the line. I say this only because of the length of the match. Go check it out. I won't even spoil it for you. But there you go. So on to news. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is returning Sunday, August 1st. And they say Bandito will be in action. So hopefully with Bandito in the States, he can maybe make it to Warrior Wrestling in August. That's not a spoiler. I'm just wishful thinking there. We have Nick Gage will fight Matt Cardona after all at GCW Homecoming on July 24th. This stemmed from all their Twitter battles. You heard Matt Cardona get berated at our Warrior show. And then Nick Gage interrupted his Major Brothers Toy podcast show live in some, look like a mall. So that's why this match is happening. Then as for that Stardom Cinderella Special Edition show, I only saw the main event. So I will wait till next week to get the results. It was a great main event, I must say. And in saying that, and after hearing Triple H's remark at WWE having the best run wrestlers in the world, man, dude, you obviously do not watch Stardom. The main event alone was better than most things WWE has done all year, men and women combined. So to Triple H, suck it, you delusional man right now. I know you got to put WWE over, but stop spreading lies, dude. You do not watch Stardom, and if you do watch them, keep them there. Do not tamper with what they're doing, because you ruin them when they come here. I'm sorry, you do. So enough of that. That's our free until next time, whenever we get more indie shows and news from around wrestling world. Don't forget to check out those Twitch streams and YouTube channels for more wrestling action. I'd like to thank again my Twitch and Discord friends for letting me promote our Warrior Wrestling show. Hope it helps everyone in the long run. So with that, take care, keep safe, and be kind, everyone. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Charlie. So let's keep rolling right along into the next segment here, where I get to play Armchair Promoter, and I am talking about the Fantasy Booker. All right, so my fantasy booking for this week, Aleister Black, or Tommy End, as he will most likely be known from now on, since he has been released from WWE. We'll get into that in a little bit here. But Tommy End versus Lance Archer. Now, big size disparity between these guys, but just I think their styles would work so well together in the ring, and again, this would be one of those cases they would just beat the hell out of each other. You've got Archer with all the big power moves, definitely would have the size and strength advantage, but then on the other side, Tommy End, he's going to have the just the advantage as far as speed. And yeah, I think they would complement each other so well, and this is a match that I think needs to happen. I mean, the rumors are out there that Tommy End will be signing with AEW once his non-compete is done. I hope that's true, because I think he would fit in so well in AEW. Yeah, that's my fantasy booker for this week. Tommy End versus Lance Archer. Tony Khan, book that match, please. Obviously sometime in the next, 4 months or so. But so let's get right into the last segment of the show here, where I talk about kind of a not so popular opinion typically, and that is called the weekly hot take. Alright, so as I mentioned a little while ago about Tommy End, or Aleister Black as he was known in WWE, being released, I've seen a lot of releases by WWE the last couple of months, and by all accounts they're not done. There's still rumors going around that there's going to be more releases coming. Yeah, I mean, June 2nd we had Braun Strowman, which was insane to hear. Aleister Black, Buddy Murphy, Lana, Ruby Riott, and Santana Garrett all released on June 2nd. Now, like I said, there's already rumors that Aleister Black is going to be signing with AEW, and that 90-day non-compete clause would be up right around the time of All Out here in Chicago. So I think that'd be a hell of a debut. So we'll have to wait and see. And then back in April, we had the releases of Samoa Joe, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, Tucker, Kalisto, Mojo Rawley, Bo Dallas, and Wesley Blake. And, again, just like Samoa Joe, very surprising. And his non-compete will be up, coming up here in July. So could we potentially see a return to Impact for Samoa Joe? Now, there has been a rumor started up just in the last few days that NXT wants Samoa Joe back, so I would assume specifically Triple H wants Samoa Joe back in NXT. And now, don't know if that would be as a wrestler, as a commentator, as a backstage person, a producer, a trainer, or what. But it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. But I don't know. I think Joe was severely underutilized in WWE. He was great in NXT. He was used perfectly in NXT. When he got to the main roster, not so much. He did have some injury issues, but I think Joe still definitely has a couple more in-ring years left in him. So, we'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't mind seeing him back in Impact. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing him back in Ring of Honor. Some of the matches that could happen there would be outstanding. Again, AEW, he's got, a history with Taz. Could he be a part of Team Taz on either side, either with Team Taz or against Team Taz? But yeah, like I said, those 90-day non-competes will be coming up here pretty quickly in the next couple of weeks in mid-July. And then, like I already talked about, Mickie James now working as producer with the NWA. And I would assume once the non-compete is done, she will more than likely be getting back in the ring as well. Chelsea Green, wouldn't surprise me to see her pop back up in Impact. Obviously, her significant other, Matt Cardona, is there. So, have to wait and see what's going to happen with a lot of these releases. But yeah, probably the most high-profile ones: Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Samoa Joe, and Mickie James. And of course, there's been rumors swirling about all of them, where they could be going next. Apparently, Mark Henry wants AEW to take a hard look at Braun Strowman and bringing him in. A lot of people are against this. I'm gonna, I'll give it a chance. Nobody's ever seen Braun Strowman outside of WWE. We've seen the WWE creation that is Braun Strowman. Don't know how he would fare in a different environment. So I'm definitely willing to give it a chance and see what he can do outside of WWE, where he's maybe allowed to, a little bit more freedom as far as, how he presents himself. So if AEW signs him, hey, I'll give it a shot. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I don't want to see him. No, hey, if there's an opportunity there for him and they want to give him a shot, I'll watch and see how it goes. So, but kind of an interesting one. There was another story going around about Strowman that he was asking for a 5-figure booking fee to do independent dates, which is kind of crazy and kind of speaks to the fact that he has never been outside of WWE, because that's ridiculous. And, you know, he tried to play it off and say, you know, I'm not asking for anything. If anybody has any questions or wants to inquire about bookings, they can call my agent. And, you know, some people pretty much outed him, saying, you know, well, you know, his agent has been quoting $20,000 to $25,000 for a booking fee for independent appearances, which is just, again, ridiculous. So I'm not sure what to make of that, but like I said, it kind of speaks to the fact that he has never been outside of WWE, because that's just not realistic to say, you know, you got to pay me $25,000 to appear on your show. That's just not a realistic thing when you're talking about the U.S. Indies. So it is what it is. Like I said, it's all rumor and innuendo. We'll see what happens if Strowman does show up in AEW, or, you know, my theory on this is they released Strowman because he had such a huge long-term contract. What I'm thinking is they released him. They're going to renegotiate his deal, probably for a shorter term, maybe for less money. Who knows? But I think we're going to see Strowman back in WWE sooner rather than later. That's my take on it, because Strowman is a WWE guy. He just is. But again, if he ends up showing up in AEW or something like that, I'm willing to give him a chance and see what he can do outside of the WWE bubble. So, again, got to wait and see. So that's going to wrap things up for this week. Again, thank you to everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch Hook Shoot. Head to catchhookshoot.com for everything about the show. You can find the podcast, videos, interviews. I actually need to upload the last couple interviews that I had with Steve Tortorello and Val Capone. Those will be up hopefully this week. I'll get around to uploading those on the website. If you just want to check out the interviews, you can do that over there, catchhookshoot.com. ProWrestlingTees.com/catchhookshoot for all your t-shirts, and you can find links to anything and everything regarding the show at our Linktree, which is Linktree/catchhookshoot, or scan this QR code right here on your screen. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. Coming up next week, I'm going to have my preview and predictions for Hell in the Cell. I'll have the results of NXT In Your House, plus all the news and rumors and all the goings-on in the world of pro wrestling. Like always, I want to thank everybody again for sticking with the show after we've been off for a couple of weeks. Very happy to be back. Just needed a little bit of a break. Stuff was getting kind of overwhelming, and having a little burnout. So just needed to step back for a couple of weeks. But now we're right back in it, and definitely glad to be back. So again, thank you to everybody for sticking with the show. I appreciate each and every person who supports us, who listens, who watches, and all that kind of fun stuff. So with that, I'm going to wrap this up and sign off for this week. Hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy In Your House and all the other great wrestling coming up this week, and I will talk to you guys soon.